Hey everyone, I got an exciting show for you today. This is Friday, and that means we bring in our extra special guests. I have published author, actually should say three-time published author, Ryan Nickle with us today, and he is coming out with a book that is so right for the time called Trouble Selling Your House. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I gotta ask, did you just write this book like yesterday? Because it's like perfect timing. I mean, what the hell? Do you have a crystal ball you're not sharing?
You would have thought, right? No, actually, I started writing this book I had the idea last March, but I didn't finally get around to kicking my procrastination in the butt and start writing it until like late October, early November.
Wow. So again, that's amazing to me because October, right? October 19 it was awesome. Things were still good. Market was up, right? There was no
Yeah,
sign of any of this and
nothing.
nothing. And then you go ahead and you produce a book and it's released on Amazon now, right? When it's kind of hard to sell your house. So again, sometimes it's rather be lucky than good, I guess, huh?
I guess, yeah. I mean, as soon as it hit, less than 24 hours went to number one new release in real estate on home sales. And so I think it says a lot about what people are looking for out there as far as the consumer goes.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I mean, you couldn't think of a better title. At least I can't think of a better title, right? Trouble selling your house in a market where you can't do an open house. You don't want anybody touching your stuff. Banks aren't lending. Buyers aren't. I mean, it's like, okay, trouble selling your house. I can't sell. I mean, genius
You
title.
know,
Genius title.
thanks, man. I mean, I honestly thought about rewriting several of the chapters to fit this pandemic that we're facing, and I thought, by the time it hits the market and everything, we'll be past all of this, and it'll be old news, and they'll think like,
Right.
oh, this guy's just trying to profiteer, and so I just let it go because
No, I think that was a wise call. Yeah, let it run. It's freaking awesome. Well, I did talk in your opening. You have 3 published books. We will spend most of the time on trouble selling your house. But why don't we flash the first 2, kind of talk about them? Why don't you do them in order? Why don't we just talk about those first 2?
yeah, for sure. So my first book was I was right out, dude. I had just started investing in real estate in 2015. Really didn't have a foothold in the market where I was at. This was in South Carolina, and so I wrote this book basically as a glorified brochure because I figured that people won't throw a book away, but they'll throw away my brochure or my business card. And so
Ah,
this one is kind of the seed, the germ that trouble selling your house became. This is called Why You Can't Sell Your House.
hmm.
Um, and this is just kind of like the basics of seller financing, creative financing, but it doesn't have nearly the robust options that trouble selling your house does.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The second book is Defending Yourself from Foreclosure. We
Oh,
went through a nasty foreclosure, my family and I did. In 2010, we lost our home. The day after Christmas, we were actually booted. My wife was pregnant with our second, and we had a 1-year-old. And this is what I wish I would have known back then to have defended myself against it, because I probably would have still had that home if that
wow.
were the case.
And that's going to be another book that I'm guessing will tick up the Amazon bestseller list in about 6 to 9 months.
Oh, you got it, man. Yeah. I'm gonna have a whole section on why forbearance is not your friend and why you want to avoid it like the plague. And yet
Absolutely.
that was the first thing that these lenders pushed on people. And, I think you and I talked about it offline, is that when you have a mortgage that goes 90 days delinquent, the lender's going to cash in on their lender paid mortgage insurance. And
Yeah.
so their credit default swaps are just, they're cashing in every single one of these mortgages. And so
Yeah.
while us, the consumer, still have to pay those mortgages, they've already been cashed out. And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. All right. So let's talk about the new book. This is all about the new book again, man, dude. Freaking awesome timing. Trouble selling your house. What can people find it? What can they expect? Right. Why don't we start there?
Yeah. Was your question what or where can they find it?
No, what can they expect if they read it?
Yeah, for sure. I have to tell you something. An
Mhm.
unintended consequence of this book is, a marketing shift for me. I'm actually having to pivot a little bit
Hmm.
because I'm an investor. I go after, distressed properties, and
Sure.
the idea was for me to sell this book to individuals that were having a hard time selling their house.
Right.
But believe it or not, I've had a lot of real estate agents raise their hand and said, "Well, my gosh, I need this book because guess what? We're having a hard time selling our listings."
Yeah.
And so I'm actually starting to pivot a little bit and cater towards that market when I never would have saw that.
Yeah.
When I
It's
was
funny
writing
you
this
bring
book.
that up, because one of the things that I pivoted with my group of guys in Fresno is I'm like, you know what? I want to go hit new home developments less than 5 years old. Right.
Yeah.
Which in Fresno means you're above the median. You're probably 280 to 320 range. But that's a market I've never prospected in before.
Wow, your median's that low?
Well, median in Fresno is 260.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh,
Yeah.
wow, we're 324.
Wow, really? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Median is 260. So yeah, we're
Oh,
talking.
you know what? It could be because your FHA guidelines are probably you know what your loan limits are for FHA?
No, I don't know those off the top of my head, but I think they're 3 something.
Oh, okay, yeah, because we're 345, and that's up from 2 years ago when we were at 276.
I think it's 311 or 312, something like that.
Got
Sticks
it.
in my head, but I could be off.
All
But
right,
yeah,
all right.
yeah. But it's again, to your point, is we're going to prospect in other areas, right? For 2 years, it was always, let me buy your cheap beater, right? Let me buy the ugly house.
Right?
Now it's like, you know what? There's a lot of people that got into FHA loans, 3.5% down. They needed both the husband and wife to work to pay the mortgage. And that's probably not going to be the case for a fair number of people for the next couple of years. And I think we can help them. So, yeah.
Oh, guaranteed. Well, I mean, case in point, I had literally on my way over to the office here, had a phone call with a woman. Her husband's a vet. They have a VA loan. They bought it last year, and they're already behind. They were running into trouble before this whole crisis happened. And she's just like, look, honey, this is how she talks. She's from the South. She's like, look, honey, I need you to just take over my loan for me. We're done. We're moving. We're out of here. Just take it over. Give me a little bit of moving money, and it's yours. I got the keys waiting for you. I'm like, all right. It's just that simple. So, I mean, you know, to kind of circle back here, that's what they can expect in the book is, you know, when you try to sell your house traditionally, you're looking for 2 people, either an all cash buyer or you're looking for someone who can get financing. Well, cash buyers are smart. They're going to hold out for deals, and banks are not loaning, you know, they're not making loans like they used to. And so, I mean, I don't know if you saw this or not. This doesn't happen to be on the purchase side, but on the refinance side, Flagstar Mortgage said that you're going to do a refinance, a cash out refinance, 5 points. 5 points to pull the cash out.
Wow.
Lending a $300,000 home, you're talking like that's 15 grand right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lending is changing. Lenders are running scared. Well, they're what was it? 3.8 million homes are in forbearance already. 7.6% of all mortgages are in forbearance. That is a problem.
It's a staggering number. I mean, I read today, you may have saw the same headline, but Mr. Cooper, who used to be Nation Star, was like, oh, we're sitting on 200 million reserves. We're okay. We can weather the storm in any way we want. And I'm like, you just opened yourself up to and they're like, oh, we only got like 5% of our loans that are in forbearance anyway.
Just wait.
I'm like, you just told your entire, you know, pool of loans that you're servicing, like, hey guys, it's a free game. Come on. It's like a landlord, you know, teasing his tenants like, oh, we got money in the bank. We got, you know, food in our fridges. But keep on paying those mortgages, you know, keep on paying your rent. We're okay. I mean, you just opened up a can right there. I would have never advertised that.
Yeah, this is just going to go. This is going to be one thing I can say that I feel pretty good about is I do not see the depth of the crash in 10, right? As far as percentage drops, right? Fresno, for example, I sold a house at 260 that retraded at 75, right? That's 70% peak to trough.
Right.
I do not see that at any level.
I don't either. No, I don't see it that bad. You know, what's interesting is it's a supply and demand game. And so, you know, when this happened, you had both immediate pullback from the sell side and immediate pullback from the buy side. And so because you had an equilibrium on both sides, you're seeing this housing market that's kind of just remaining flat, basically. You're not seeing appreciation or depreciation.
Yeah, flat on price, down on transactions. Yep.
Exactly right. Yeah. And we have in Sacramento, we have this less than a month's worth, or about a little bit more than a month's worth of inventory. And so, you know, the agents are screaming, we need more inventory, more inventory. Well, you know, as soon as you do that, all you're going to do is just decrease the downward pressure on prices.
Yeah. There's 2 things that strike me about this. First off, let's talk about the inventory problem. I don't know if you're seeing this in Sacramento, but part of that inventory problem is actually misleading, because at least what I've seen in Fresno is all the new home developers are just throwing listings in the MLS because all their open houses are shut down.
Yep.
Right? So the listings artificially appear high. That's the first thing. I mean, it's like, I mean, I looked yesterday, I think 28 of
And,
the 35 new listings were new home developments. I'm like,
and over 50% of them are price reductions.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just bad. But again, back to your book. This is why I think this book is perfectly timed. I just told you where I'm prospecting. Why does that prospecting work? Well, it's because a lot of people came in for 3.5% down. They've been in the house less than 5 years. It means they have no equity. It means they had no equity before price drops. And they had no
Right.
equity to pay agents, right? Agents want their 6%. You know, maybe they'll give you 5. You add on top of that escrow and transaction costs and moving money, there's nothing there. So,
Well, case in point. So, I mean, I'm a student of my market as well. So up here, I'm an hour north of Sacramento in Yuba City, and our 3.2s, our 2.1s, they trade for right about $200 a square foot.
okay.
And you know, that's we buy a lot of those properties, we turn them over, and that's what we sell when we flip our properties. And we're like I said, right about around $200 a square foot. And you know, so this house hit this market that I've been looking at. It's a 3.2. It's just a tick over 1,000 square foot, and I couldn't believe it. It's advertised right now, brand new listing at $255 a square foot. And I'm like, what the heck? Like it's so far way above. And so I dove into it and I looked at it and I'm like, oh yeah, no wonder they bought it last year.
Exactly.
And they have no equity. And so what are they doing? Well, they're tacking on everything you just mentioned: transaction costs, moving money, realtor expenses, all that stuff. This house, unfortunately, is just going to languish. It's going to sit there. And so that's going to be a house that I'm going to roll up to, and I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? When your listing expires, you know, this book might be able to be a resource to you.
No, that's exactly what I think. This book was just such a great title. You know what? I may have to buy 100 or 200 of them from you and just put them in my freaking office in Fresno. I'm serious. We'll have to talk about that after.
I give you my author's discount.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing too, and this is why I'm talking about pivoting, because in the past, what I've done is I've gone after, wholesalers out there, the guys that are out there. I'm looking to multiply my marketing efforts, and they're out there knocking on doors. I'm like, hey, when you get a deal that you can't close because there's no equity, send it my way. I'll creative financing, and I built my business on that up here. And this pivot is like, well, what if I went after realtors? They already have the listing. They already have the house. It's a conversation, it's a twist in conversation. And this is the whole point of it, is there's a hybrid buyer out there. There's a buyer that might not have all cash, but they have a lot of cash, and they may not be able to get finance. But what if we carry the financing? I mean, a case in point, we have a home that we're in the middle of a remodel, and this person has $200,000 to put down on it. And we're like, well, when the remodel's finished, it's going to be a 270. They're like, well, that's fantastic. What if we gave you 2 right now? And then in 6 months, when the remodel's done, we'll just, get a refinance or cash it out and stuff like that. And I'm like,
okay.
This person was in such a small, narrow market that they're only looking for 200,000 cash. They came to our property, and we're willing to carry a little bit of a financing for them. Yeah. And I'm like, that's a win all day long.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's what this book really teaches, especially for agents, because I think it's a good opportunity for them.
Yeah. I don't know how the book is broken down. I haven't seen it yet, read it yet, but I will. What are the chapters you want to talk about?
Complimentary copy.
Oh, you're so nice. What are the titles, or what are the 7 things? You want to just hit the titles at least?
Yeah, I can definitely do that. We go into pricing it. So it's price it right, spruce it up, rent it out, give it away, say goodbye, wait it out, sell it short. And then of course, when all else fails. I mean, it's one of my favorite ones. When I was doing the research for this book, there's a, believe it or not, there is I don't know if you're superstitious or not, but there's a little Saint Joseph statue.
You turn it upside down in the yard. Yeah. I did some of that back in 2006 or 7.
Did you really?
Oh yeah.
I found a company. They have a whole bag of them. They'll sell you the whole bag for like $5.
Oh, it was bad, man. You would do anything back in 06 to sell something. Yeah. I remember.
So yeah, I mean, when all else fails, that's what you got to do. Like, that's a Hail Mary right there. Like, Joseph sticker
buried in the ground. Yeah. Oh, that is so funny. Whew, scary thoughts. But yeah, I think your idea of going back to agents, that's one thing I'm marketing to, is agents, because again, I lived through the last crisis, and I also know a lot of our competition, yours and my competition, they've only known the last 5 years, right? Which is mailers, texting, markets done. The people that are in these new housing developments, they bought them through an agent, right? So they are likely going to go through an agent again. So those people are not going to respond to a mail or texting or any of that stuff, in my opinion. So
No, you know what's interesting? Case in point, I started doing mailers probably about 2 years ago. This house hit the MLS, and I looked at it and I looked at it like, this house looks really familiar. And it had been the vacant property across the street from a house that we looked at about 2 years ago.
uh-huh.
And I'm like, man, this looks really, really familiar. And so I looked it up on the map and I'm like, sure enough, I've walked this property. I've never been inside it, but I walked around it.
Yeah.
I go back to my mailers. I've mailed this person literally over 100 times in the last 2 years. And they went with an agent. So it just goes to show you that, yeah, they're in times of uncertainty and times of fear, two things are going to happen. They're either going to just call everybody that mails them something, or they're going to go with a professional. And I think my pivot towards a professional is probably the smartest choice right now. That's what you're already doing. So
there's no yeah, no, it's absolutely the thing to do, because the world, again, the world we were in was yesterday. We need to pivot for tomorrow. But unfortunately, a lot of people in our business aren't going to do that because it's worked. I mean, I'll hear it 6 months from now when people are telling me they have no marketing money and they're bankrupt. Well, I just did what I did before, and I did more of it, and I doubled down, and the world was different, and you didn't wake up.
You know, I went through a wait with you as well. I was on the different side. I was on the lending side at that point, and I was with my marketing, and we were getting clobbered left and right not to stop our marketing. That when markets contract, that's when you want to be out there mailing the most, because no one's going to be there. And I bought into that, and I don't think that's, you know, holistically a wrong philosophy. But what I'm looking at my numbers right now of my mailers, I've actually put my mailers on pause. And I'm only, instead of doing mass mailing, I should say that, I have very targeted lists that I'm still mailing to, but my mass lists, I put that on pause just because the returns have been so dismal.
Yeah. And again,
this is the time to get laser focused.
Yeah. You got to know your numbers, and you got to realize that the seller, again, I can't say this enough. The seller tomorrow is not the seller of yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Show me your junky house. It's not going to be there.
Well, that was the whole thing. You know, we'd come in there, we'd be we're all cash, quick close, and that worked for some people.
Yeah.
And that might still work with, you know, maybe heirs. I can tell you, we have a probate property right now, and they want the money.
Yeah. No, of course.
That's what they want. They want it now. But you're the one that you are the one that I got this from, and just, it was a brilliant idea, a phrase. You said that sellers want yesterday's prices while buyers want tomorrow's prices.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a huge delta between the two. And it's our job as professionals to help, you know, bring them closer together.
And again,
education.
If you're a wholesaler, listen to this, you should replay that quote over and over again, because I've seen 10 deals from Fresno wholesalers in the last 14 days. The prices suck. They're all yesterday's price.
You know what? My mailbox, my email inbox is also blown up as well. Price reduced. Oh, great deal. Fantastic. I mean, I've never had so many wholesalers hitting I don't know where they got my list from. I wasn't on their list before, but now I am.
Oh yeah. And it's amazing what happens.
Yeah. Those deals do suck.
Oh, they're just horrible. They're not even close. I'm like, that's probably what I retail it for. I mean, what is that?
Well, that's the thing. We saw a house, I want to say about 2.5 weeks ago, that was so far. Well, they came from out of the market. They were down in Stockton. And so I think for them, this price was probably a dream, but they were so far out of our even, you know, realm of possibility that it was just ridiculous. But their attitude was, well, I got the contract, you don't, so I'm going to find a buyer, you won't. And I was like, good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that not everyone's like that. So it's cool.
But again, wholesalers, I don't know why I have to do this, but I have to remind you lots of times, you do not get paid to lock up or control a contract. That's not when you make your money.
Right.
You make it when you sell it to the end buyer. Right. So your work's not done.
I know. It's funny too, because I tell this to new wholesalers all the time. I say, you know, because they have the idea that it's a stock trading, buy low, sell high. And I'm like, no, man, it's not. It's buy low, sell medium, fast.
Yes. Quick. Yeah.
And that's what you need to do. You need to get it out as fast as you possibly can. If you're going to hold on to it, especially in an uncertain market, you're going to miss your opportunity, your window.
Yeah. That was a big lesson learned from my interview yesterday with Lee Carney, who's done 7,000 transactions out of Florida in the last 5 or 6 years. Certainly one of the biggest on the East Coast. And he's like, buy low, sell medium, right? That wasn't exactly his phrase, but that was it, right? I want to be in and out as fast as possible. I'll leave meat on the bone on purpose. Yeah.
You know, honestly, it's funny because that's what we've been doing. We've been wholesaling for a long time. We've been buying these properties and doing minimal, make them rent, minimal work, rent ready, just to get them out there for, maybe a landlord. We're not quite the, we're not the hub. We're not making these amazing, beautiful properties out there that are turnkey. But for our market, we're doing all right. But it's interesting because two properties, and Monday and then one again yesterday one on Tuesday and one again yesterday. Both of them want us to do a full remodel for them, and they're going to pay us up front. And I'm like,
wow,
the market's speaking. Yeah, the market's speaking in some regards. And so it's like, okay, well,
this is actually a guess right now. It's really too early to tell, but I just did a video this morning. I sold 2 of my fully remodeled units in the last 10 days, right? They're in escrow. So I guess I shouldn't say they're in contract. I was originally just going to build inventory and not even list anything until August or September. But I had people call me up going, I want something. Well, I'm like, hey, I have these 2 done. Here's the price. Like, we'll take it. Because borrowers with cash,
that's the thing,
can get them.
Yep. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that because the inventory is so tight right now that if you have a deal that's worth anything, that people are going to take it.
And the cleaner, the better.
I should say that. You should clarify that, because
the retail side, the cleaner, the better, right? It's got to pass inspection. It's got to do. And again, you've seen the stuff we produce. Everything's freaking redone. So I was amazed by that. So I actually have 3 other projects in the work that I was going to hold off. I'll probably just send them out to my network and see if they go, because it's just a weird time. I didn't expect that, but yeah, they were sold in 24 hours. It was crazy.
Yeah, because that's crazy, because we're thinking the exact same thing. We're thinking like you, August, September, we're going to have a nice little, bump. But I think there's a call for quality right now.
Yes.
And I'm fortunate enough to have partnered with a guy that does a really great job on his remodels. He's like you. He does a phenomenal job. It's his reputation. It's his life calling to put out a perfect product. If you pull back the walls, you're going to see that the wires are perfectly, sliced in the walls. And so that's what he's like. He's like, a MacBook. You take it apart and it's beautiful inside. That's how he takes the pride on his remodels. And but that's the call for quality right now, because a lot of the houses that are hitting are your sellers that like, oh my gosh, the market's falling apart. I might as well, collect my equity, when I'm like, you got so much deferred maintenance. There's no equity there.
Yeah, because you won't be able to get again, folks, the environment has changed. And just because somebody signs a contract to buy it, if the lender doesn't fund because you have deferred maintenance, it's not a deal. It'll blow up. And you'll just keep it off the market for 45 days in a market that's falling. That hurts
a lot.
Yeah. So this is weird, but let's get back to the book, because again, I want to wrap it up here.
Well, that's what Trouble Selling Your House is all about.
Exactly. What it is.
Are there other? Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this is probably the crux of the book is for the longest time, especially if you're going the traditional route with a real estate agent, the only way you knew how to sell your house was to drop price.
Yep.
And most people just could not afford to do that.
Yeah.
And so this book says, hey, there's an alternative way out there. There's a hybrid buyer that you may not have even been aware of because you weren't open to creative financing. If you open up to creative financing, now you have a flood of new buyers that can give you what you want to move on, and it's a win-win situation for everybody.
Yeah. Again, dude, perfect timing. I am gonna take you up on that author special or whatever you call it, because I want to get some of those at the hub, because I think they're going to be great marketing pieces. And I do think you're right. Agents are the people to go to, because I think a lot of the new people in the new home, the new constructions will just go that route. Mailers don't go there. You got to pivot. You have to pivot. You got to listen to Ryan. He's been in the business a long time, very successful. You've got to pivot. So I want to thank you for putting this out there and congratulate you on being a #1 best-selling author or new release, whatever that's called. That is awesome, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I saw your #1 as well. I'm trending on Audible, man. Good job for you.
Thank you. And again, where can people go if they want to get the book?
You know what's real simple. It's just troublesellingyourhouse.com. It'll redirect them right to the Amazon. We have it discounted right now for the first week of the release. It's only 99 cents. Then it's going to shoot back up to $11.
There you go. Again, troublesellingyourhouse.com.
That's it. Yep.
I will put that as the first line in the description below. All right, Ryan, have a wonderful day, man.
I appreciate you, Michael. Thank you.
Yep.